origin of Russian formalism or formalism. See, what is the origin? Formalism was opposed to the symbolists, means some are the writers, symbolist writers in those days. An extremely influential group of theorists and writers in the 19th century who proclaimed a very subjective and aesthetic philosophy of literary criticism and appreciation. सिम्बॉलिस्ट कोण होते? 19व्या शतकातला लेखकांचा एक ग्रुप होता आणि ते कशावर भर द्यायचे? सब्जेक्टिव्ह अँड अस्थेटिक फिलॉसॉफी ऑफ लिटररी क्रिटिसिझम. Subjective and aesthetic philosophy of literary criticism, and Russian formalism is against that theme, against that symbolists. See, the symbolists were interested in language and its effects, but the form was only important as a medium for the effective communication of their deeply symbolic themes. See, symbolist writers, that group that was interested in language and its effects, but they never study how that language is formed, how that language is constructed, means they neglected the form. They study the language and its effects. They neglected the forms, but they considered form as a medium of communication. Form as a medium of communication, but they neglected the form. They focuses on language and its effect in literature. But Russian formalists study of the form was an end in itself. Russian formalist says that the language of literature is a different language, distinctive language. It has its own rules. It is different than the day-to-day language, and that's why that language is complete in itself. That form is complete in itself. That never depends for its meaning on the other thing, other factors, external factors, but it is complete in itself. So that is the notion of formalist writer. See, the formalists were clearly influenced by the strong scientific currents of the age. Means these groups, these peoples are what we can say using what we can say the new trends in their age to study the language. They tried to use the models and methods of scientific inquiry in their work. They tried to use the models and methods of scientific inquiry in their work. The purpose of the critic was to look upon each text as empirical data, whose meaning and purpose was to be found in the data itself without any reference to external factors that I have told you. See, once again I will explain the next second paragraph. See, the formalists were clearly influenced by the strong scientific currents of the age, means they are using new trends in those days. They tried to use the models and methods of scientific inquiry in their work. They are a critic, they are a writer, and while writing, they focuses on the form, and to focus the form they are using new methods, scientific methods, and they are inquiring themselves to present their work in the perfect form. The purpose of the critic was to look upon each text as empirical data. What was their purpose? Their purpose is that this is a what we can say a complete data. These words have its own meaning, whose meaning and purpose was to be found in the data itself. means that words and that text has its own meanings, and that text never has to depend on external factors. It is complete in itself. It has its own significance, it has its own meanings. We cannot remove a single word in that line, and we cannot add a single word. If we remove, then meaning is change. If we add, then also meaning is change. So the words that exist in the text have independent, they have their own meanings. They are complete in itself. Isn't it? So this is the notion of Russian formalism. See, formalism encourages the reader to not look upon a text as merely a reflection of social, political, or economic realities or a historical document. See, before the 20th century, in literature, every writer is presenting his own contemporary society, the problem of socio-economic and what we can say political and historical problem of his age or his era. And critics are also reading that text in that way. But in the 20th century, there is a new criticism. After new criticism, there is a Russian formalism, and both new criticism and Russian formalism giving importance to the language of that text, not these external factors. What are the external factors? What is the social, political, economic, historical background of that text? According to this formalist, according to these new critics, these external factors, this background is not important. Only words has its own meaning. Words have its own meaning, and that's why words are independent to convey the meaning, not these things. That's why this reflection is rejected by the Russian formalist writers. See, it should not be read simply as a guide to human behavior or for its insight into the human condition. It should not be read simply as a guide to human behavior or for its insight into the human condition. म्हणजेच literary text should not read as it is presenting how to behave, it is giving moral message, it is showing us what we can say human condition. That is not important according to Russian formalism. These fall under the purview of subject matter and therefore outside their sphere of inquiry. These fall under the purview of subject matter and therefore outside their sphere of inquiry. It is wrong, according to Russian formalist, to look the message given by the text to the society. That is wrong. To take the meaning from the social, political, economic, historical background, considering this background is also wrong according to Russian formalist. See, what is the intention of Russian formalist? The text is therefore isolated. Isolated. Text is individual. Text is independent. Text is freed from all the external factors. The text is therefore isolated from all external considerations and analyzed on its own terms. The text is therefore isolated from all external considerations and analyzed on its own terms. So text is isolated. It is not depend on these socio-economical factors, biography of the author, what is the condition, history of that time. That is not depend. It is isolated from all external factors consideration and analyzed on its own terms, and that's why the text is should be studied by focusing only on the text. See, in early 19th century Russia, early 20th century Russia, this attempt to liberate art from serving ideological and political ends was considered to be a truly revolutionary enterprise. Means this is a really a revolutionary enterprise in those days, because these people, this group, are trying to make the art free from all socio-political, economical, and what we can say religious and historical backgrounds and ideologies, so that it is one revolution at that time in the literature. Now, in this slide, we have to see the basic tenets of formalist theory. Means formalism, what is important in formalism? What are the basic things in formalism? What are the basic features of formalism? What are the basic, or what we can see, core points of formalism that we have to study in this slide? Basic tenets of formalist theory. So what are the basic tenets? Language has a purpose other than conveying meaning. This is the basic tenets, basic or core point of Russian formalism. According to Russian formalism, language has its own meaning. Language has other purpose also. It not only conveys the meaning, but it has other purposes also. See, who is talking? Just remember the book that I am going to mention. Boris Eichenbaum, in the theory of the formal method. कुठल्या पुस्तकात, कुठल्या यशेमध्ये, द theory of the formal method states, म्हणजे सांगतो, says that formalism is characterized only by the attempt to create an independent science of literature. What? Formalism is characterized only by the attempt to create an independent science of literature, which studies specifically literary material. That I have told you. Literary material. Boris Eichenbaum said this in his essay or book, The Theory of the Formal Method. What he said? Formalism attempt to create an independent science of literature. Literature is one kind of a science according to this writer, according to this critic. Literature is also one kind of a science. It is independent, and that studies specially literary material. Boris Eichenbaum, in his book The Theory of the Formal Method, said that literature said that literature is a science, and formalism studies literary material of this science. Did you get now? Only studies the literary material of this science. See, formalism is a form of scientific inquiry, and therefore it tries to establish subjective and precise methodologies. What is formalism? It is a scientific inquiry. Formalism has a specific, what we can say, a procedure to study, to analyze a literary text, and that's why it is a scientific inquiry of that text. Therefore, it tries to establish objective and precise methodologies. What? Objective and precise methodologies. Victor Shklovsky now, Boris Ikenbaum who have seen. Now Victor Shklovsky in his art as technique, Victor Shklovsky in his art as technique introduce one of the central concepts of formalism. कुठली कन्सेप्ट सांगितली फॉर्मॅलिझमची? विक्टर शेक्लोस्कीनी त्यांच्या पुस्तकामध्ये आर्ट ॲज टेक्निक मध्ये त्यांनी सांगितलं डिफॅमिलरायझेशन. व्हॉट ही हॅज टॉक अबाउट डिफॅमिलरायझेशन. ओके. अकॉर्डिंग टू शेक्लोस्की, we are constantly using words to denote objects, and after a while we are so used to the words that the objects they stand or fade away in our minds. Did you get anything? Once again I will read. Just remember one thing. They might ask you in objective. Defamiliarization is a concept presented by or coined by Victor Shklovsky. त्यांच्या बुकामध्ये आर्ट ॲज टेक्निक. ओके, दॅट यू शुड रिमेंबर. अकॉर्डिंग टू शेक्लोस्की, वी आर कॉन्स्टंटली युजिंग वर्ड्स. आपण नेहमी सतत शब्द वापरतो कशासाठी? टू डिनोट ऑब्जेक्ट्स, एखादी वस्तू दाखवण्यासाठी. टू डिनोट ऑब्जेक्ट्स, अँड आफ्टर अ व्हाईल वी आर सो युज्ड टू द वर्ड्स दॅट द ऑब्जेक्ट्स दे स्टँड फॉर फेड अवे इन अवर माइंड्स. In our minds, fade away. For example, we always call bakda bench, but actually that is a wood. That is a wood. So object fade away from our minds. He compares it to algebra, where letters stand for numerical values, and after a while we think only of the letters while doing calculations. Isn't it? 1 2 3 4 5 पण कॅल्क्युलेशन किती होतं त्याचं? 10च्या. So like that. He compares it to algebra, where letters stand for numerical values, and after a while we think only of the letters while doing calculations. The numbers they stand for slowly recede in the background but never actually go away. They are reduced to a single alphabet in our perceptions. They are reduced to a single alphabet in our perception. 50 आणि 50 दोन अल्फाबेट आहेत, परंतु जेव्हा त्याची बेरीज करतो आपण ते 100 होतो. म्हणजे एका अल्फाबेट मध्ये येते, एका आकड्यात येतं. दोन आकडे राहतात का नाही? 5 5 5 5 5, 4 वेळेस 5, 5 वेळेस 5, खूप 5 5 दिसतात. परंतु जेव्हा त्यांचं कॅल्क्युलेशन होतं ते 25, एकच आकडा बनतो त्याचा, किती? 25. म्हणजेच हे बाकीचे आकडे त्याच्यात इन्क्लूड होतं. सो इन दॅट वे, अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस रशियन फॉर्मॅलिझम, लँग्वेज हॅज अ स्पेशल पर्पज. Language has its own meaning. It is independent, and that's why each word has its meaning. But when we create a sentence, then every word lost itself, and that sentence got its own meaning. That sentence got its own meaning, and that is there only in a literary text. Similarly, objects in our perceptions fade away and are replaced by a fixed, unchanging collection of words. Similarly, objects in our perceptions fade away and are replaced by a fixed, unchanging collection of words. We are so familiar with the objects that they almost become invisible, and the words act as effective symbols. See. Once again I will read. Similarly, objects in our perceptions fade away and are replaced by a fixed, unchanging collection of words. We are so familiar with the objects that they almost become invisible, and the words act as effective symbols. Words acts as effective symbols. Shklovsky insists that the object of literature is to make objects unfamiliar. What is the object of literature? What is a familiar thing? We observe a thing, they are reduced to a single alphabet in our perception. Similarly, okay, we have seen that. Now we are going to move towards Shklovsky's insist that the object of literature is to make objects unfamiliar. What is the uddesh? Object means what is the main motto of literature? Literature's main motto is that to present reality in a different way by distorting it, that is known as defamiliarization. To make a familiar thing unfamiliar. To make a familiar thing unfamiliar is the main object or main aim of literature. It should compel us to look at the object anew, because when literature present it, it make it a new one, distorting its originality, shake the familiar out of its root until it becomes new, a little unfamiliar, the familiar out of its root until it becomes new, a little unfamiliar. Shklovsky uses Tolstoy as an example and says he accomplishes this using simple techniques like not naming a particular object but describing it in unusual ways. Tolstoy sometimes shows us something from an uncommon point of view, like that of a horse. Shklovsky suggests that the purpose of art is not to create meaning but create a particular way of looking at an object. Shklovsky suggests that what is the purpose of this theory? The purpose of art is not to create meaning, not to give message, but create a particular way of looking at an object. To look object in a different perspective. Art is therefore a special kind of lens that makes the familiar unfamiliar, right? Art is a special kind of lens. Through that, we can see familiar as unfamiliar, a new one. The meaning of what this lens shows is either irrelevant or secondary. So, art's aim is not what is the art's aim. Art's aim is means what is art? Art present the what we can say the day-to-day reality. But in art, that day-to-day reality is distorted. That familiar thing make unfamiliar means that presented in a different way, and that becomes a new. That becomes a new. So this is the aim of the art, to create a new one, and it shows it its aim is to create a new one, and also it gives a different perspective, a different vision to the observer to look that object in a different way. So you got the meaning of this paragraph. See, the independent value of the poetic sound means poem has its own meaning, that is known as independent value of the poetic sound. See, this kind of attention on language not only isolated literature from philosophical, historical or psychological concerns but push formalism towards disciplines like linguistics. This kind of attention on language not only isolated literature from philosophical, historical, or psychological concerns but pushed formalism towards disciplines like linguistics. This was in part accomplished by Leo Yakubinsky, who, in his essay on the sounds of poetic language, what on the sounds of poetic language is written by Leo Yakubinsky argued that there is a basic difference between poetic and practical language. Who has make a difference between poetic and practical language? That is Leo Yakubinsky. Leo Yakubinsky. He has made a difference between poetic and practical language. He suggested that practical language contains a pattern of sounds that has no independent value except as a means of communication. Practical language is only have a means of communication. It has a patterns of sound, but it don't have any independent value. It is we use only for communication. See. You might say to your friend, it is a dark and gloomy day, where your only purpose is to communicate a message. But when Macbeth says, so foul and fair a day I have not seen, the purpose of the line goes well beyond simply communicating a message. The reader is aware of the steady beat of the iambic pentameter as well as the deliberate alliteration which gives the line a resonance and quality that is quite independent of whatever message it has. In simple terms, you like it just for how the line sounds. Formalism insists on the independent value of poetic sound. That we have seen. Practical language don't have independent sounds. It is we use only for communication. But the language used in Macbeth, the same line, so foul and fear, a day I have not seen, has a it is an example of which language? It is an example of poetic language, and it has a different meaning, and that we have seen here. It has a different meaning, and that we have seen. This meant that the form of a text is no longer just a passive recipient, a bowl into which the poet may pour his content. The form was a complete thing in itself, requiring no external justification for the formalist. The form was a kind of content as well. They tried to draw our attention to the particular techniques used by the artist that compelled the reader to experience the form as something distinct from its message. Formalist, the form was a kind of content as well. Yes, it has its own content. They tried to draw our attention to the particular techniques used by the artist that compelled the reader to experience the form as something distinct from its message. That's also right. Now, we are going to see the last things. Broad theories of poetry and prose. What are the theories of poetry and prose in formalism? Once the formalists had established the autonomous importance of the poetic language, they moved on to a more general theory of verse and prose narrative. Means whatever we have seen before this, we had talked about poetic language or only the poetry. Now we are means whatever we study before, that is about only the poetry, how the language of poetry is there, that Russian formalism had talk. Now from here we have to see how is the language of prose narrative is that Russian formalism is talking here. See, since their field of inquiry was form, the formalists insisted on a clear division between poetry and prose because they pointed out that they are serving their purpose in very different way. आपण अगोदर पोएटिक लँग्वेज बद्दल बघितलं. आता आपण कशाबद्दल बघत आहोत? फॉर्मॅलिझम किंवा फॉर्मॅलिस्ट क्रिटिक्स आता आपल्याला प्रोज आणि नरेटिव्ह बद्दल सांगणार आहेत. परंतु फॉर्मॅलिझम कशावर फोकस करतं? फक्त त्या साहित्याचा फॉर्म कुठला आणि त्याच्यामुळे त्यांनी काय केलेलं आहे, दोन भाग पाडलेले आहेत. कशाचे? पोएट्रीची लँग्वेज वेगळी असते आणि प्रोजची लँग्वेज वेगळी असते. ते दोन्ही भिन्न गोष्टी आहेत. सी, सिन्स देअर फील्ड ऑफ इन्क्वायरी वॉज फॉर्म, The formalists insisted on a clear division between poetry and prose because they pointed out that they were serving their purpose in very different ways. In narrative fiction, Shklovsky rejected the accepted notion that plot was synonymous with story. It is said that in traditional way, plot is a story. But Shklovsky rejected that. Plot is not a story. The story itself was just a description of events. What is story? Story is a description of events according to Shklovsky. The raw material of composition. That is a raw material. The artist uses different techniques of structuring the material, transforming it in the process. So, artists use it in a different way and then he transported it into a story. These techniques like framing, parallel, parallelism, structuring of phases, emphasis, and use of motifs together comprise plot. What techniques like framing, parallelism, structuring of emphasis, and use of motifs consist a plot. Plotting is the composition, sorry, Plotting is a compositional device, the lens through which we pursue the story. The formalist position in poetry was stated by Osip Brick on rhythmic syntactic figures. On rhythmic syntactic figure. कोणाचं? Osip Brick. Where he argued that rhythm was the structural basis of verse. Rhythm was the structural basis of verse. According to them, poetic language was to be studied and appreciated as a self-sufficient language without any reference or relation to practical everyday language. That we have seen. Poetic language has a different value. That is not a day-to-day language. It has a rhythm, it has a figures of speech, it has a rhymes and whatnot, meter, foot. Ikenbum, in his book on the poet of that name, Anna Akhmatov, Anna Akhmatova, said that poetry uses words that belong to ordinary speech but gives them a special aura of significance. Poetic form should therefore be judged against the background of other poetic speech. Poetic language has been developed and broadened by generations of poets and therefore has its own syntactical and semantic structures. It is not just a medium for the communication of content, it has content to communicate without having to depend on anything else. Once again, we will read. Poetic form should therefore be judged against the background of other poetic speech. Poetic language has been developed and broadened by generations of poets and therefore has its own syntactical and semantic structure. Semantic, meaningful, syntactical, grammatical. It is not just a medium for the communication of content, it has content to communicate its internal workings and mechanism without having to depend on anything else. So, poetic language is independent, it has its own rules, it has its own importance, it has its own techniques and characteristics, and that's why it is independent. It does not convey the content, but it has its own content to communicate. So, that is this paragraph. The formalist view of literary evolution. Utkranti. The formalists were thus at pains to isolate aspects of literary composition, the formalists were thus at pains to isolate aspects of literary composition which, till then, were either considered part of the general message or deemed unfit for serious analysis. Once they established form as an object of illegitimate inquiry, the formalists turned their attention to its evaluation. Shklovsky rejected the conventional notion that literary form changed to accommodate the need to express new content. The evaluation of literary form, too, was diverse from its social and cultural background. Once this was done, they concluded that the primary influence of the way forms evolved were other forms. According to this theory, literary works interact among themselves and as they develop, they intimate, reject, modify, or transform. An old form becomes defunct because it does not have the technical ability to serve its purpose and is therefore replaced by techniques and methods that are better able to do the job. A formalist would look at the difference between Browning and Eliot as a revolution in the formal aspects of poetry without bothering with the vast change in subject matter or themes. Thank you.